Whew, I feel like I need to take a deep breath before we bring on our next guest, because holy fucking shit. And I mean that. She is one of the most beautiful, incredible powerhouse souls I have ever come across. And when you guys call me a unicorn, I'm like, yeah, I am pretty rare. And when I found Sarai, I knew I found my tribe, and we just instantly connected. And listening to her journey, her story, her transformation, her willingness to just break free from the past chains of addiction and just all the fucking bullshit has been so inspiring, and just reminding me that we all carry a little bit of trauma, and it's what you do with it and how you move through it and how you transform it to help others. And you truly are a beautiful leader in our industry, making a huge impact in just showing up as your authentic, raw, real fucking yes self. And that's why I knew we had to just showcase your story, your magic. And also when we heard about your retreat, it was a full body yes. So I'm like, who is this bitch? Who is she? And so we want to showcase your magic. So thank you so much for being on the show, Sarai.
Well, I don't really know what to say after that. I think that might have been the most magical, magnificent introduction I've ever been fucking given. So kudos. And I'd like to hire you just to follow me around and just repeat that. Thank you so much, Britt. I appreciate it.
I'll introduce you at the retreat.
Oh my God, please fucking do. That's it. It's settled.
That's what we're going to do.
All right, before we dive in, Sarai, what's the place where people can find you? Like, what are your Instagram or your website? Like, what's the place? Because everyone should pause right now and go see, because there are certain people that you meet that you'll come across in your life and they have a star quality. And it's not necessarily, I mean, she has tattoos and stuff like that. It's not just that though. There's something that, especially once you see a lot of people with tattoos, that kind of just, they fade away. But there's something that you can tell in the presence of somebody, and they don't really have to say anything. They don't really have to do anything. They just have a star quality. When I met Brit, I knew she's got star quality, and it's the same kind of star quality that we are seeing right here. So everyone should pause. And where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Platinum Giraffe. You can also visit my website, platinumgiraffe.com.
Yeah,
I love it.
You can tell. I mean, there's just a certain thing.
She's a coral giraffe now.
And I think a lot of people are born this way. And you'll notice that, like, as Brit mentioned, that a lot of times when you have a person who's a star quality, there's always going to be some sort of like dark side that they pull a lot of power from, something that they've overcome. And it's typically going to be something that they've overcome that's really huge. I know a lot of times we idolize people and we put them in a box like, well, it's just been perfect for them and it's easy and their parents were fantastic and everything just worked the way it was supposed to, and they were just pampered nonstop. But a lot of times it's not how it is. And I think that there's so much power in that. And a lot of times the people who we really need to look up to are the people who have overcome that and who say, you know what, let's get it, baby. Let's keep going. There's nothing that's going to stop me. And just looking at you, I can feel that. And it feels good. I'm excited for this.
Well, thank you. Shit, I'm hiring both of y'all. You can just follow me around, be my fucking hype squad, okay? Like, I don't even need to talk today.
I mean, I could definitely add that to the resume.
Hype
Like,
squad.
100%. I could wear that hat for sure.
Awesome. I love it.
Well, take us back, because you know we've had such beautiful chats to get to know each other deeply, but I'd love for you to just kind of start where you feel called to, like, take us back to, like, how did this star power start? Where did she go dim, and how did you get it back?
Oh, it's going to be a long journey. Let's buckle up, friends. Well, it has been a lifetime of learning and growing. So I grew up in a super small town. And I always kind of felt like I don't belong. Like there was something bigger out there. You know, I was born in a town of like 500 people, grew up with super, super religious parents. You know, I was indoctrinated into the church and all of those things. And I always felt weird. I always felt like an outsider. So my adolescence was filled with traumatic events, and I didn't really learn how to process my feelings. So I'm a big feeler. I mean, big feeler. I'm an empath. And one of the things that my family did was we swept things under the rug. We didn't talk about things. We just put a nice, cute little, beautiful bow on the outside of us and just pretended like everything was great. And so for me, having these big feelings, I always thought there was fundamentally something wrong with me. Like, you know, I'm looking at all these people around me and, you know, they're not crying at Hallmark commercials, or they're not having meltdowns when things don't go their way. So starting as a kid, I had emotional dysregulation. So growing up with this, being a big feeler, wanting to get out of this small town, I was pretty much running away from myself. And I didn't recognize it at the time. And at 19 years old, I had my first of 7 miscarriages. That sent me into a spiral. I began drinking heavily. It was my first of 3 suicide attempts. And I just kind of like had a meltdown, had a freaking meltdown. And I ended up moving to a bigger town because I was like, I got to get out of small town shit, right? Like all my problems will go away if I just move, right? Right. Yeah. Turns out that shit follows you. So I went to hair school at 24 because I couldn't figure out what the fuck I wanted to do with my life. Like I'd switched majors 7 times. I'm like, college is such shit. Like it's not for me, you know? So I went to beauty school and I remember walking in on the first day and I was like, these motherfuckers are my people. Like they are from all walks of life. They're a bunch of fucking weirdos. They're loud. Cool. I'm home. So I graduated beauty school at 24. And by 25, I accidentally opened a salon.
Only you.
I just listen, it fell into my lap and I said, fuck it, why not? I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I had no business owning a salon with a business partner at the age of 25. And so for the next couple of years, I was the responsible one. I was taking care of all the marketing and, you know, payroll and taxes and blah, blah bullshit. And my business partner at the time was a partier. And she was always having fun and like going out. And like, I was like, I want that life. Like, I want to have fun. So at the age of 27, I tried drugs for the first time. And that's all it took. That is all it took for me. 1 line of cocaine at the age of 27, then became, that wasn't good enough. So I need more. I love this feeling that I'm getting of escaping my body, escaping my head. Coke turned into meth. Meth turned into an everyday junkie addiction. I lost my salon. I was forced to sell. My car got repossessed. I wasn't paying any of my fucking bills. I got evicted from my house. I ended up homeless. In a span of 3 years, I was an alcoholic and a fucking junkie living on the streets. And you would think that was my rock bottom. Nope, just wait, folks, it gets better. That was not my rock bottom.
We're going way down.
We're going deep. So at the age of 31, I actually met my now husband. And we got introduced by a mutual friend and he was a drug dealer. And I was like, oh, you're a drug dealer. I like drugs. Hey, let's hang out. Not your typical drug dealer. He's the nicest fucking dude you've ever met in your life. And he was so kind and caring and compassionate. So we started hanging out and we started getting really close. And he helped me. He really rescued me from a bad situation. And so we started hanging out all the time. And a couple months later, he was like, you know, we should get married. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's do it. But I was like, you know what? We can't do this. Like, I'm 31, you're 33, dude, this is bullshit. And so he was like, I'll get out of the game, which means you got to get off the shit. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, no problem. Spoiler alert, I did not hold up my end of the bargain. So for the next couple of years after we got married, my drinking was out of control. Now I'm still working as a hairstylist. And as if you can imagine somebody with a drug problem and a raging alcohol problem, I didn't really have a clientele. We didn't have money. I mean, I think we had $400 to our name when we got married. I was turning into a total shit show. And I remember it was March 4th, 2016, when everything kind of came to a head. I hated myself. If there's a stronger word than hate, that's what I did to myself. I was so fucking miserable. I was beating myself up for all of the mistakes I've made in the past, You know, my self-talk was, you're trash, you're garbage, you're a fucking gutter slut, you are worthless, you don't even deserve to be around. And so to drown that, you know, drinking and drugs. So my alcohol use got so bad, I would literally wake up in the morning with the shakes. And every morning I promised myself, I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do drugs. Every fucking morning at 8:30 in the morning, I was at the liquor store. They knew my order. They had it ready. I'd go to work. I'd get blackout drunk, do some fuck shit. And I had this theory that if I didn't remember it, it didn't happen. Not a great way to live, by the way, people, not a great way. So Friday, March 4th, 2016, I get blackout drunk at work. And I apparently made people cry. I don't to this day know what was said. I don't care to fucking know. So I get a text message on Sunday from the owner of the salon. And she said, I need to meet with you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. She said, but in the meantime, I really want you to think about what your career means to you, what your salon family means to you, what your family means to you. And I'll see you Monday at 9. So I've got 24 hours to think of this, and I'm thinking of all the excuses, all the things that I can come up with. I'm this, I'm that. I was running out of excuses. You know, we're going on, what was I, 19 when I started drinking? So whatever, do the math on that. I'm terrible. 14, 15, 20 years. I don't fucking know, of me drinking constantly and making excuses and fucking up and more excuses. So I walk into the salon Monday morning and I have this feeling of dread, just my whole body. Because I'm like, here we go. Here's another salon that I get fired from because I can't get my life together. At 35 years old, I can't get my life together. So I walk in fully expecting her to say, just go, get out. And I didn't even walk in the door. And she goes, what the fuck is going on with you? I had this moment and it's like time stood still. And I was like, you have two choices here, Sarai. You can continue the lies and the bullshit that you've been doing your whole fucking life, or you can tell the fucking truth. So I said, I don't know how to stop drinking. I can't stop drinking on my own. I think I need help. I think I'm an alcoholic. And she looked at me and she hugged me and she said, then let's get you some help. And I thought, what the fuck is this? I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of this. So I called my husband. I shared everything. I was a really good hider. Most addicts are really good closet addicts. So I shared everything with them. And I made a decision that day. I promised myself to do things differently, to act differently, to speak differently, because I know what my life was like until then. So if I wanted something different in my life, I had to do different things. So I went to AA meetings. I went to NA meetings. I didn't really tell anybody at first because I was kind of ashamed that I, had an alcohol addiction. And then a couple months later, I started talking about it and sharing more and more. And I found a community of sober people. I realize now what I did was transfer addictions. I threw myself into work to keep me clean and sober. And it worked. I mean, I've been sober, clean and sober 7.5 years, but I didn't deal with the shit. So I stopped drinking, I stopped doing drugs, all that, but the inner work I still hadn't done. And so for 6.5, 7 years, I hit the ground fucking running. I'm talking working 80, 90, 100, 120 hours a week. There were 2 years where I was educating for myself and with companies where I was home maybe 4 weekends out of the entire year. And I'm working on clients the rest of the week. And I'm burning my candle at both ends, in the middle. I am slowly running myself into the ground. So last year, I had all these goals for myself. Tick, tick, check, done, cool, house, car, hit multiple six figures, have a business, have multiple businesses. Why the fuck do I still feel empty? What is this? What am I still running from? So last year in November, after my very last class, and I was home, I think that travel stretch, I was home 15 out of 90 days. And after my last class of the year, my husband and I went away to the mountains. We took our 2 baby dogs and we ran away, and I didn't tell anybody where I was going. And I had a full-blown fucking mental breakdown. And it was there in the quiet, in the stillness, that it came up what the fuck I was still running from. For 28 years, I had been hiding a secret from everyone except my husband that I had an eating disorder. That's the last piece of the Sarai puzzle. And so I thought, I have overcome homelessness, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. This one's going to be the tough because it's the last. It's been with me the longest. So I decided to go public with it. And that was really fucking hard to tell all 190 whatever fucking followers I have a secret. I haven't been honest. I haven't been honest with you, and I haven't been honest with myself. And so I went to treatment in February, and that's really where shit started to I just cracked open like Humpty fucking Dumpty. My shit is everywhere on the sidewalk. I'm not even trying to put it back in. I'm just letting it all out. And from the moment I walked into treatment, I knew this was going to be different. I knew that I was committed to my healing. For 42 fucking years of my life, I have been running. I have been bottling. I have been trying to fit into these boxes that people have made for me. I'm a fucking octagon trying to get into a square hole, and it's not working. And I finally got honest with myself and started to forgive myself for everything. I started to learn to love myself. I have hated myself since I was a kid, thinking I'm defective, thinking there's something fundamentally fucking flawed with me. And I realized in treatment, that's not the fucking truth. I am an incredible fucking magical sparkle unicorn that has been through a lot of shit. And it's because I have that darkness, like you talked about earlier. I have so much darkness. I have so much trauma. I have so many things that I've overcome. That's what makes me fucking magical, is that I finally said, enough is enough. I no longer accept treating myself like shit. I no longer accept the negative self fucking talk that I've had for decades. I no longer accept the way that I have been treating myself. One of the things that they said in treatment was, talk to yourself like you talk to your best friend. And when they said that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, if I spoke to one of my friends the way I speak to myself, I would get punched in my fucking suck hole, just right to the kisser. And so I have been on this fast track healing journey. I've jumped in, no life preserver, and really just been working on myself, reprogramming, rewiring, healing, doing that fucking work that is so tough. And nobody tells you when you start it, you can't stop. There's no exit. There's no turnaround. No, when you start a healing journey, you know too much to ever go back to where you were. So that's why I'm here having this amazing conversation with the two of you magical motherfuckers.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
The amount of reels that you just unloaded on us right there, that is going to be, I don't know how we highlight the whole thing. It was like watching a game of highlights. I mean, it was, holy smokes. But for everyone, for one, thank you for sharing that with us. And it's it's interesting because I've spent a lot of time, not because of my own personal addictions, but I spent a lot of time in AA and all that goes along with that. And you're right, you watch people trade addictions.
Yeah.
For the people that do beat it, which is not many of them. And it's always back when you could smoke in the room. Holy, the amount of cigarettes, you're definitely in a casino. I mean, it is like shit. And it's just, you just gave everybody the formula for transformation if people were listening. And the first part is that, number one, you have to have a readiness for change. If there is no readiness for change, I don't care who is sitting across from you to help you, none of it will help. It will not matter. They can be the most brilliant person, the smartest, the highest of the highs, the highest paid person, the person you see on TV. None of that shit matters. If you have no readiness for change, you will not change. No one can force you to change. Even with a gun to your head, you can't be forced. You have to want it because, like you said, it sucks to do. The actual work that you have to face, you're going to sit there with the demon that you've been sprinting from, as you explained. You're going to sit right next to them and you're going to look them in the face and you're going to have that moment and you're going to say, I have fucked up. And it's so hard as people for us to admit we fucked up. I mean, how many people you ever really hear say, I'm sorry, unless they just had a terrible parent who made them say, I'm sorry. Other than a person who was conditioned to say it, no one wants to say it because no one wants to be wrong, because your brain is always trying to tell you what you're doing is the right thing. And so you have to come to a place where you can forgive yourself. And it is extremely, that is the most difficult part to do. A lot of things you can work on. And it's not, when we think who's the person that we really need to forgive, it always comes back to us. It's not whoever hurt us. Those people are typically actually easy to let go. It's us that it is massively difficult. The problem is once you hurdle those two things, so you have to have the readiness for change. You have to forgive yourself for fucking up. The third thing that you absolutely must do is overcome the shame of admitting what you did to other people. So those are going to be the three barriers. The help that once you get to that spot, the help will come find you. You will attract it. You will absolutely, they will cross your path. It can be weird people sometimes. It's like, you're like, I passed this. We were walking this morning and ran into a lady we always see. And it's just like, we always pass these people, but it's divine timing. Divine timing is always ready to work with you, but you have to be willing to receive it. Just like I said, if you're not ready for the change, divine timing is just passing you by repeatedly. That bus is just going to loop around the block again. So it's not like you missed your opportunity. You just wait for that bus to just loop right on back around. But in that meantime, you have to get ready and you have to forgive yourself. And like, once you've let go of that shame part, how successful you can be, how good you can feel inside, all the things that we always look for drugs to do for us is all inside us. We are magical. We are geared with the right stuff. I mean, just with simple breath work can do amazing things. Once you get into the practice of like yoga and stuff, you can do amazing things. Meditation, there's tons of shit out there. But you will not be able to benefit from it unless you do those first three things in the beginning. Because if it's not with those, nothing changes. And you repeat yourself. You're like, why does this keep happening? You're not ready for change. Change sucks. Every single part of it is hard. And you're going to change because you have to change how you think. You mentioned you started thinking differently. You started doing new action. You started getting around people who were doing new shit, which is all the answer. But it has to change. Like something, you can't just do the same thing every single. I talk to so many people. I want to be so successful. I'm like, well, who are you getting up this morning and serving? And they're like, well, what do you mean? Like, that's how you become successful. If you're not serving anybody, who the fuck's going to pay you? People pay you because you're serving them. Like you're doing an exchange. And so like having that power and being able to give that to people, that's why we transform. Because once you transform, now you can serve. If you're broken and hurt and all that kind of stuff, what ends up happening is that you just look to the other person for more problems. And you guys get camaraderie because, well, let's talk about how life sucks and how we're unlucky and how the tables have turned against us. And, well, our parents didn't do this and we didn't have the advantages of these other. They're just lucky and they just do all these things. It's fancy. It's bullshit. All that's just a lie we tell ourselves. It's all more about figuring out that the power's inside us. And then once we light that light up, light them up, light up everybody. Every single person you meet, everybody you're around, start lighting. Like stop fucking sitting on your ass watching Netflix. Get up and go light up somebody. You feel bad about life? Light up somebody. Do it again. And it's just, everything starts to change. Everything starts to feel good.
And that's really what you have been doing is through your membership, through your courses, through your affirmations on your reels that are fucking hilarious. Like through your retreats, like through everything that you do is a lighting up of others. I mean, literally the tagline is thrive and shine for your upcoming retreat. So Can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to create this retreat and how retreats have played a massive role in your healing and, building that safe space and community?
Community, that's it. I mean, it's about community. Addiction, depression keeps us lost, keeps us lonely, keeps us isolated. And for years, I was so isolated. I didn't want anybody to know what I was doing or what I was, how I was feeling. And so when I did get sober, I actually attended a retreat 6 months after I got sober. And I had zero doll hairs to my name. I had to borrow money to go to this damn retreat. I knew literally one fucking person there. And I was like, why am I doing this? What are you fucking doing, Sarai? What are you doing? And then I was like, nope, this is new, Sarai. We're doing things that are scary. And that's actually where my slogan, fuck your fear, came from, is having fear, but doing it anyway, working through that. So I went to this retreat and it was probably one of the most magical experiences of my life. I sat there so fucking scared, like, oh, this is all new. There are so many people. I don't know what to do. And, being newly sober around a bunch of hairstylists, I was like, oh God, everybody's going to want to drink and it's going to be weird. And it wasn't. I told people, no, I don't drink. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for the support. What I found there was a community of like-minded, badass motherfuckers who were just weird and cool, and they were just themselves. And we came together for a common goal. We wanted to educate. We wanted to learn more. And I remember sitting at the retreat, and there was like the tiniest voice. It was that same voice that stopped time when my owner said, "What the fuck is going on with you?" It was that same voice that said, "This is what you're supposed to do." And I was like, what? You're calling the wrong person. You're calling the wrong person. And I thought, no, I'm no, made up every excuse. I'm just newly sober. I don't know enough. I don't blah, blah. And that fucking voice got louder and that fire got bigger. And I was like, I have to follow this. I just knew with my whole soul I had to follow it. And so I started diving into education. I started going to events. I started reaching out to companies. Like, something happened at that retreat that literally changed the trajectory of my career, yes, but my entire fucking life. Like, had I not gone to the retreat, this conversation would not be happening right now. So I wanted to recreate, I wanted to give people a space that they could come that is judgment-free. You come as you are. If you want to dress to the nines, dress to the nines. If you want to come in your fucking PJs, come in your fucking PJs. Bring your Snuggie. I don't give a fuck. But I wanted to create a space where like-minded humans come together and have a sense of community. Yes, we're going to learn hair shit. We're going to learn business shit. We're going to learn mindset. We're going to do yoga. We're going to do all these things. But more than that, it's connecting with other humans. And we humans are meant for connections. It is hardwired in us biologically. We have the need to connect with other humans. We all just went through a fucking worldwide pandy together. And so many of us have isolated. So many of us have gotten out of the habit of connection. You say that too, don't you?
Crack me up. I just can't stop.
Pandy.
Pandy. I got the giggles.
A pandy. We can't say the real word. But so many of us have isolated and gotten into this space of like, I used to have community. I used to have connection. I don't have that anymore. I'm Netflixing. I'm ordering in, and so I wanted to provide a space for people to come and fucking connect in real life. Put your fucking phone down. Take some deep fucking breaths. Be around people who are just like you, who want more for their life, who want to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And that is literally why I created the Balanced Stylist Society Retreat, Shine and Thrive, a wellness experience so that people can experience community together.
I am so excited to get to experience the magic and all the transformation that is going to go down in Utah. I'm so pumped that Chris is going to be a part of it too, because I, just like you, feel like retreats in person have this transformative power to do like 10 years worth of work in what might take on your own 10 years can be done in a short period of time when that willingness is there, when there's a safe space and you feel open to let the walls down around your heart. And when I came across your retreat and there was like tarot cards in the marketing and crystals, I'm like, who is this queen? And I just literally like like you said, you follow what your soul says fuck yes to. And when I came across you, your work, the retreat, it was like nipples hard, full body, fuck yes, like juicy, yes, like book the plane tickets right now, no questions. I actually just realized I have clients have to reschedule. I'm like, oh, y'all are on the calendar, my bad. So it's like living from that place of passion doesn't come common. And so can you describe like, what are some of your other passions and how has that led you to be this leader, this just empowering, beautiful soul? Like how does passion play a part in the work that you do?
I've always been a very passionate person. Whatever I'm in 110%. Hence the workaholism, the drug addiction. I'm like all fucking in. You know, I have felt this this purpose inside of me since I was a little girl. And I've always known my purpose is to help people, like full stop. And so I wanted to become a cop. I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a teacher. And then I wanted to be a hairstylist. And, you know, what I've realized is I'm a healer. And I don't mean like I'm going to lay hands on you and heal you. I'm a healer in the sense of I have been through darkness and I am here to help you through your darkness because it is possible. I am living fucking proof. I have had so many of my friends die from addiction. I have seen people, their lives destroyed because of addiction, because of their own fucking bullshit. And I managed to cut through my own bullshit so that I can help people. That is my purpose on this planet. It is to help people. It is to inspire people. And, you know, it's looked different at different chapters of my life. And now I'm realizing like, I'm a healer and I'm cool saying it. Like before I was like, who are you to say this? Are you a shaman? Have you taken courses? Have you? And I'm like, no, the people who have gone through fucking trauma and come out the other side are motherfucking healers. And that is my purpose on this goddamn planet, is to help people heal. And right now it looks like putting together retreats. It looks like having an education community. It looks like mentoring people. It looks like speaking on stages. You know, I've got a book in the works. So I will never stop helping people because I know what it is like to feel like shit, to have these beliefs that you didn't ask for, you didn't want, these thoughts and feelings that are implanted in you at such a young age, and you're running from them your whole life when you just need to sit the fuck down, shut up, and deal with them. Look them right in their stupid fucking eyeballs and deal with that shit. The shadow work, that is the hard fucking work that people don't want to do. And I found that it is my purpose to help people get into that shit, get into your fucking bullshit so you can get out of your fucking bullshit.
Are you still happy right now? I know you're so happy right now.
I'm sorry. I'm divorcing you and I'm marrying Sarai right now. Like 100%. I feel the same way. That's why I host goddess gatherings on the full moon, to be able to release we call it burning the bullshit, to help you face your fears. Because what I found is that the fears that we're holding have already happened. It's in the past. We're just replaying them in our mind and recreating that feeling in our body and living that out. So what I learned in doing the shadow work, and maybe you've experienced this, that every time you actually shine your light and look at the shadow, you're like, oh, but I've already been through it. I've already done this. Like, why has this been what? How has this been affecting me this whole time? But it's only until you have the courage, which is what we're cultivating, to have that awareness and say, you know what, I am going to look you in the face. And that fear disappears when you have that courage.
It absolutely does. When you are willing to sit down with your own shit and get really honest with yourself, it's amazing. You shine that light and you look and you're like, this shit ain't even that fucking big. Like, I mean, what? I thought this motherfucker was a boogeyman. He's like the size of a little mouse. What the shit? And like you said, you realize like the more you do these things, the more uncomfortable you are willing to get with your own self, the quicker you're healing, the more miraculous you're fucking healing, the deeper your healing is. And it does take facing your fears. Fuck your fears. Fuck them. Everybody's fucking got them. Do you want to look back at your life at the end of your life and say, I should have done that. I wish I would have. I should have. Fuck no. I want to look back at the end of my life and be like, I fucking killed it. I fucking did all these things. I did all this work. I had all these amazing fucking experiences because I said, fuck my fear. I was afraid. I looked it in the eyeballs. I said, sit the fuck down, get in the goddamn back seat. You are not driving. And I fucking lived my life.
So what fear are you saying fuck you to right now at this stage in your journey?
Oh, that's a really good question. Not being good enough. There's an underlying current in my life that it likes to keep popping its head up. You know, like you said, I've shined the light on it, work, shine it again, gets a little smaller. I am going through yoga teacher training right now at 42, 43 tomorrow for my birthday.
Congratulations and happy birthday.
Yeah, I'm going through yoga teacher training, and it's interesting. I've been a master at my craft. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master something, right? So for 7 years, I have been teaching this incredible blonding method that I came up with. I've been educating, I've been speaking, I've been doing all these things. And so I'm a master of my craft, right? If you really want an ego check, be a beginner at something, because let me tell you, the fears that are coming back, that talk, it's not the same, you're a piece of trash, you're garbage, you're not enough. It's coming in different forms. What the fuck are you doing? You're 43. Should you really be doing yoga? Do you really think that you have the ability to teach people yoga? You're a fucking hairstylist, Sarai, a hairstylist. Get off your fucking high horse, stick with what you know. So those fears are coming back. They're very rude. They're very loud. And what I've had to learn is to lean into that. And so when I find myself in a yoga pose, that's fucking Ashtanga yoga is one of the hardest fucking things out there. I didn't know this when I went into yoga teacher training. I didn't know Ashtanga was like the fucking CrossFit, as Brit said, of fucking yoga. I'm in a yoga pose and I'm all of a sudden going, I can't do this. This is hard. I remember I just did a 60-minute meditation by myself. No guidance, no music, no nothing. I sat with my shit for 60 fucking minutes. 6 months ago, I wasn't even doing yoga. So fear, you need to zip it. You need to get in the backseat. Actually, put yourself in the fucking trunk. Okay. Just put yourself in the fucking trunk until I open it again. It's going to be a long time. So every day I'm facing my fears in a way that is authentic. I'm not running. I'm questioning, where is this coming from? Why is this happening right now? Instead of being like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. This should be healed by now. And talking to myself in a negative way, I just say, you know what? Thanks for showing up. This is something that I need to work on. So why are you here? What are you trying to show me? Where in my life do I need to focus on so that this doesn't keep knocking at my door when it's fucking midnight and I'm trying to sleep?
Yeah, it is amazing. We've been practicing Ashtanga for
12 years.
12 years, and it is
Something
absolutely.
I suck at math. I'm colors and sparkles. I don't know.
It is absolutely phenomenal. I remember the first time we did it, I'd gotten injured in CrossFit. We were preparing for competition. I got injured. I was like, I need something different than this. Like just going harder is not helping me. And so I ended up finding Ashtanga yoga, and I took a video of it. I found a DVD video. We don't have a DVD player. We got DVD video. Took it over to my mom's house, And I got my mom and Brit to do it. I'm like, hey, I just found this new thing. I don't know anything about this. You chant weird stuff at the beginning. He's talking about Uji breathing. I don't, back then I I had no idea what it's called, how to pronounce it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting us into. And we may summon demons. I mean, I'm not really exactly sure what is about to happen, but I would love it if you would be the guinea pigs with me, because I'm actually kind of afraid to do this thing alone.
And we're like,
and we do it, and we did. It was a shortened primary sequence. It was like a 15 or 30-minute, real tight primary sequence. And I remember and we were, like I said, CrossFit competitors. Like we could just smoke a workout. I mean, it was stupid strong. Brit could do pull-ups. I mean, it was just ridiculous, right? I got in that those first 5 sun salutations, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? This is impossible. And the guy on the video was like in his late 50s, and he just tucking his head in between his legs and doing weird stuff. And I just thought, I think I like this. And I remember, because there was a moment where you realize that it's not about the postures. Yeah. And it takes a while to figure that out, because the postures are so damn hard, because you're really like, and especially as a guy, I was never flexible. I was strong. Like I'm normally a big, beefy guy. I'm like, I'm strong. So flexibility, I thought, was stupid. I was like, I'm not a cheerleader, so there's no real reason for me to do that. I'm not a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. It's like, this not a thing. And so I'm like, this is stupid. And then once I did it and the flexibility started coming, and then I started realizing this is not about flexibility. It's really about shutting down your mind. And it's weird, because it's not about shutting down your mind, because you're not actively doing that. What you're doing instead is focusing on one thing. And what most of us do is we multitask nonstop. Got the phone, we're driving the car at the same time.
She's good at that.
We're thinking about something else. We're like doing all these things at once, but we're not designed to be that way. Our body's designed to be 100% on one thing, or at least a portion of that.
Like you're not well, I hope you're not multitasking when you're having sex, similar.
The amount of people that project images on their partner's thing during a deep moment of intimacy is wackadoodle. Because what you'll realize eventually, the reason why you start doing all this stuff, and I think the reason why sex is such an amazing thing, is the fact that you, in that like moment of bliss, your mind shuts totally. You get that just brief experience of, oh my God. And it's not the physical sensations. Obviously those are nice. Everybody likes that, but it's when that mind just goes, zoop, and you're suddenly, especially when you're there with the person that you love, and you're connected so much, and it's like the whole room goes into a different color. Like shit's happening. You're probably making stupid faces. You're just doing all that, but you don't care. You're not like, I know.
You look like a werewolf.
Yeah. I mean, it just, woo, whatever. It's just the way it works. And so it's so important for us to realize that there's so many things like that in life. Like laughing does that. Music does that. When you dance, it does that. When you're in a great conversation, it does that. Like everything tunnel visions. It's 100% right there. And when you're in that 100%, what ends up happening is the mind shuts up, because that means you're in the present moment. When the mind shuts up, you're in the present moment. If you start thinking things, you're out of the present moment. And for so many of us, the reason why we don't change is we're constantly thinking. We're thinking and we're thinking and we're thinking, and nothing comes from that.
Well, we're trying to think our way out of our problems.
It is crazy.
Instead of just stop doing the problem.
Yes, school made us honor the logical mind. We so worship the logical mind. We're just taught to do that from the beginning. You're are you smart? Are you dumb? And it's like, what the fuck? That's not how it really works. Like we have to feel our way through life. Like so many answers, just like you said, right now, in exactly what you want to do, and being able to overcome so much, and being able to be a healer and step up in a space that's really tough. I mean, being a healer is not for the faint of heart. You have to overcome the trauma to know that, like, shit, these people they're going to give me details of their life. That's, it's going to be a gut punch. I'm going to hear things that they may not have shared. They're going to be very vulnerable. They're going to be very trusting of me. And that's such a huge responsibility as a person. What I want to ask you is, as you're doing the healing work, how do you recover? Or how do you allow yourself not to take on any of the burdens? Like, how does that work for you? Are you able to detach yourself, or are you doing something different?
So I literally create a bubble around myself, because I've learned through years of being a hairstylist that if I don't protect my energy, it goes right into me. And so by imagining, as silly as it sounds, this bubble that allows me to connect with the person, but not absorb that hurt, that trauma, and just being empathetic is such a big part of being a healer and protecting yourself. Like being empathetic, but not allowing yourself to take on their shit. And it's not yours to take. And it's rude of you to think that you should take it. That's their burden. That's their thing to carry through life. And if you take that, you're stopping them from healing, right? So I put a little protective bubble up around me when I go out in public, when I have conversations, even online, that I know from past experience, when I have taken other people's shit on, the only place it's ever gotten me is hurt. It's drained me physically, mentally. So for me, my sort of decompression, my I don't know, energy flicker, if you will, is yoga. It's meditation. It's a moment for me to connect back with myself, be in the present moment, not think about anything except the fucking inhale and the motherfucking exhale, and to allow myself to feel my feelings, but to not sit in them, to not allow myself to sink into, I wish I could fix this person's problem. Or I wish I could give this person I could tell them, you're self-sabotaging by this, this, and this. And I could tell them, but they're not going to hear it, but I need to make them hear it. Like, I can't. And I think a big part of that is because I've had so many opportunities in my life to quote unquote, get my shit together, right? I've had opportunities to get sober before. I've had opportunities for all kinds of healing that, like you said, that car's going to circle around the motherfucking block until you're ready to say, okay, taxi, hi, hey, it's me, I'm ready. Because of that, I think it helps me understand that I can give people information. I can tell them what I know. I can't tell anybody what they're supposed to do. And even if I did, doesn't fucking matter. And so I can't be responsible for their energy, for their healing, for their feelings, for their emotions. And it took me a long fucking time to get there, to realize like, the only thing I'm in charge of is my thoughts, feelings, emotions, what I put out to the universe. I literally can't control anything beyond that. And sometimes I can't even control my thoughts. Like, you know, we're humans. We have 60,000 fucking thoughts a day. So when I really started to understand that, I was able to kind of be empathetic, listen, sympathize, but not absorb that shit.
I'll tell you something that I do, and it's a little bit of a cheat. And it took me thousands of clients to figure this out because, you know, you do take it on sometimes. And it's just like, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to exercise it out of me. Okay, I'm just going to make my body really clean. I'm just going to do all these things. But sometimes you just take it on because you're seeing that person and you're feeling for them. I mean, you develop the more stuff like this that you do, you just develop a huge heart for people. You're like, damn, people hurting out there. Like people going through a lot of stuff. And like that person that cuts you off on the road, I always think they're going through something. I mean, there's something's happening right now. They're going through it, man. Hey, get on, buddy. Let me pull over just a little bit. It's all you. One thing that I like to do is I like to picture the person healed. Like whatever they're trying to do, I do not focus on what their problem is because I can't help them there. But if I focus on them being healed, they'll see themselves through my vision. Like I'll hold the frame of them bigger than they hold the shitty frame of themselves. And so I'll hold it stronger because I've been doing this. I practice this. Like there's something, you know, you have to practice all this stuff. This isn't like it just comes always naturally. You got to practice this, you guys, especially if you're going to be a healer. Like you have to care about other people a ton but not at the expense of yourself. Like that's always the like catch we're doing and little things like this. So I picture them healed. And so when they talk to me, I think of whatever they're saying is basically a joke. I'm like, how are they kidding themselves? They're over there with the clown paint on their face, being a jokester. And I'm over here knowing that that's not the problem. That is not the problem. You are beautiful. You can do amazing things. You are empowered. Like just your image is wrong in your head. Like that's normally what it ends up boiling down to. And I wanted to ask you, when in your story did you start seeing yourself and your future differently? When did you start picturing a future that did not suck?
The day I got sober.
Yeah.
There was that voice and like I don't know, like a flash of you could have a different life. And it was quick. It was literally like a statement and then gone. And so it was this tiny little glimmer of hope that I was like, you know what? Maybe things could be different. Like really, truly. And so I think honestly, my healing journey really started the day I got clean and sober. Now, I didn't really dive into it until much more recently, but the more, the more days I racked up clean and sober, I began to think differently. I began to speak differently. I began to act differently. I'm like, shit, I've been sober 30 days. Fuck yeah. Shit, I got 2 new clients this week. Are you kidding me? Like, you know what? I am capable of doing these things that once seemed so out of my realm. If you'd have told me 15 years ago, I'd be here, I'd have looked you square in the face, been like, please give me some of your drugs and leave this party. Okay. Thank you so much. Because I didn't have the bandwidth. I, at that point, couldn't understand, but I did something hard. I did something vulnerable. I did something courageous, and vulnerability and courage go hand in fucking hand. If you know anything about Brene Brown, she says you cannot have vulnerability, or you cannot have courage without vulnerability. I asked for help because I had a teensy tiny little baby voice inside me that said, maybe you can do better. Maybe you deserve better than the bullshit you're doing right now. And I think it's become more and more clear over the last 7.5 years. And especially last November when I had my meltdown in fucking Montana in a cabin. And I just really realized, like, if you want the things that you talk about, if you want your life to look like your dream life, bitch, you got to get fucking honest and you got to dive in. And you have to really fucking do this work. You've done a lot of work up till now. I'm super fucking proud of you, kid. But like, let's cut the bullshit, Sarai. If you want what you want, you have to do X, Y, and Z. And so I think it's been 7.5 years of slowly realizing, but that moment when my salon owner looked me square into my fucking soul and said, what the fuck is going on with you, was the moment I realized I deserve better.
I think that's such a beautiful reminder that we cannot do this alone, that we always need that external support to spark us inward, to know that we have the power to choose to change. It's like, reminds me of one of my favorite childhood movies of The Wizard of Oz, like, bitch had them sparkly shoes the whole fucking time. Like, but it took triumph, challenge, courage, all the things to develop the heart. We all know the story, but it took that external person to be like, hey girl, like, you just have to decide. You just have to decide what you want. And I think it's so powerful when you meet someone that has that impact in your life. And hell, I'm already leaving you for her. So like, she impactful, you know what I mean? So like, it's just a beautiful thing when you can use that vulnerability in a courageous way to share like that story of hope. I always think about the moment that I made a decision to change my life. I worked at Forever 21. I wanted to go to, was I in beauty school? I was in beauty. I just started beauty school. I worked at Forever 21 and I'd already made a courageous decision to just go all in and pay for my own beauty school with my Forever 21 money that was never going to cover it. But I didn't do the math because I'm colors and sparkles. I was like, fuck it. I'm just passionate. We're doing it. But I'll never forget, there was a woman that I worked with that said she had lost 100 pounds, and weight was always a big issue for me. And when she said she had lost 100 pounds, it gave me hope that change was possible. And I think that the work that you're doing, I'm so proud of you. I'm so fucking thankful for you. I feel like we need more people being vulnerable and courageous leaders by sharing the truth of what they've had to overcome, so that you can see that, yes, we are cute and we look all sparkly and we shine bright, but goddamn, was it hard to get here. I always say, like, change is hard AF, like the healing is hard AF, but it's absolutely worth it. And once you go through that process, you realize, I can't not share this with someone else. So I just am so thankful for the work that you're doing out there.
Thank you. I used to say that vulnerability was a curse word. I will curse at you until the fucking cows come home. I got fucking suspended from fucking kindergarten for saying fuck. I have always had the mouth of a sailor. And the one word I would never say, or if somebody said it to me, made me fucking cringe, was vulnerability. I thought, that's for fucking pansy ass bitches. No, I am strong. Fuck you. I built up this wall of armor so that I didn't have to be vulnerable, because I thought people like to see success stories. People like to see the good shit, right? Cool. Everybody likes to see that. People need to see the weakness, the tears, the struggle, the hardships, because there's not a motherfucker on this planet who hasn't been through something. And if you haven't, listen, you're from Mars. I'd like a ride the next time your ship comes in. I want to discover the universe. But struggle is what makes us fucking relatable. So like, why are we on social media trying to show the highlight reel of our fucking life? Dude, when I see accounts like that and there's no substance, I'm like, I'm out. Deuce, peace, bye. No, I'm not saying you gotta fucking cry in your bathrobe every fucking morning, but if there's not a human connection there, if you're telling me how great your life is all the time, first of all, bitch, you lying to your damn self, okay? And then you lying to your fucking fake ass fucking followers, because life is ebbs and flows. It is a pile of steaming hot dog crap. And it is also fucking pots of gold at the end of rainbows. So I've learned vulnerability is one of the best motherfucking compliments. Being vulnerable. That is one of my favorite fucking words now, because I've learned when I was vulnerable and I asked for help, when I was vulnerable and I shared my story with one person and they said, you know what? I went to an AA meeting because of you, or I did this, or I shared this with my friend because I chose to be vulnerable, to have the courage to open up and share about my struggles. That is what fucking life is about. It is about sharing your experiences with other people and letting people know you are never fucking alone. And it doesn't matter what your past is, what you've been through. We can all, as humans, relate to a moment in our life that was so hard and we didn't think we would overcome it. And we did. And that's the beauty in being vulnerable and being authentic and sharing. Is, had I not been vulnerable, I would not have the incredible community that I have. I would not be having this incredible fucking deep ass conversation with two incredible fucking humans if I wasn't vulnerable and authentic and showed up as myself. And that means showing up and saying, I'm fucking struggling. I am doing some work and it fucking sucks. But I am showing up for myself every fucking day. So if you are like me and you think that vulnerability is a weakness, you are motherfucking wrong. I hate to tell you that, but you are dead ass fucking wrong. It is a fucking superpower. Lean into it, tap into it, drink it up.
I want to listen to her all day. You're the best storyteller, Sarai. Honestly, I've been so captivated. I feel like I don't usually go into trance too often during our interviews, but I have just been enamored with just your story, your light, your magic, and just literally like the strength, and also the amount of cuss words that someone else like myself expresses so freely feels so fucking good. Like, it just,
this is enhancers.
It makes people pay attention. Okay. Like, pay attention. But honestly, like, you really are doing incredible work, and you're doing it messy. You're doing it like one step at a time. And I think that so many people think it's just going to be this overnight success, this overnight, like, well, I chose to love myself and now I'm perfect. But it is an ongoing process of peeling back the layers, of journaling. And one of the things that came up while you were chatting is something that I said in my birthday card that I wrote to myself last year. And I encourage you to try this out because I know how you feel about birthdays. That's tomorrow. I write myself a birthday card every year, and I write about, what am I learning? What am I growing through? What am I curious about? What struggles have I had? So that when I'm like, older, I can look back and read like, this poor bitch, like, why was she trying to make it so hard on herself? But I wrote in my card last year that life is simultaneously good and bad at the same time. It hurts and it's beautiful. And I think you really nailed it. Like, life is a steamy pile of dog crap and gold nuggets of, rainbow magic juice. I think you need to know that it's not like the healing process has light at the end of the tunnel, even during the darkness. Like, everything has two sides to the coin, and it's just your perspective and how you choose to look at it. And I love that you asked, like, when did you make that shift? Because it's how you visualize yourself. And as you called yourself a healer, I witnessed your aura own that. You embodied that. You didn't hesitate. And when I looked at the mental image that you're making about yourself, I do see your image congruent with you doing that and empowering and helping. And so I think so many people need to recognize that the story and the vision, it's not just the story you tell yourself, but the person you imagine you are when you look in the mirror of your mind. Like, do you reflect back that version that you are growing into? And when you said that, you owned it. It was beautiful. And I need you to know that, because I think you probably are still like, you know, like second guessing yourself on that one. You
Well,
are.
I'm glad people can't see me because my face is completely red. I'm literally like fighting back the tears. I have to tell you, that's the first time I've said that out loud. I've said it so many times in my brain, in my own head. I've journaled it, but that's the first time I've ever said it out loud. So thank you for acknowledging that. It didn't even feel weird. Like, honest to God, I really believe and feel it. And I've had conversations with myself in the mirror about me as a healer, as a mentor, as a guide for people. And it's powerful shit. Like, it's powerful work. You know, I used to put these sticky notes all over my mirror. And it was when I was, you know, a drug addict and I was an alcoholic. And I knew I wanted better, right? I didn't want to feel like a piece of shit. I didn't want to believe these things. And so I would write myself notes. And I just remember looking at them and I thought, this is fucking stupid. This is the dumbest shit. Whoever the fuck told me to do this is a goddamn psychopath. Okay. This shit doesn't work. I was wrong. It does work, but you have to be willing to even just take a nibble of that belief. You don't have to believe it all. Like, in treatment, when I had to write things like, I am beautiful regardless of my size. I love and accept my body exactly the way as it is. I love my thighs. I love my butt. Like, when I had to give myself self-love, I was like, this dumb. I flash back to that, you know, sticking those Post-it notes. I'm like, this fucking dumb. These people are stupid. I don't know shit about fuck. And I was like, no, I have to just believe a little. And it's that is the healing process. It's just a little belief. You deserve better. You are better. You're working on yourself. You are facing your fears. Just a little nibble every day from the fucking Alice in Wonderland eat me cookie can transform your whole fucking life, because you think it's going to be this magical, beautiful experience where white light, angels shining, fucking money's raining down from heaven, and you're fixed, you're cured.
That's
done.
a strip club, honey.
Yes, like raining from the heavens. That is the exact opposite of healing. That is the exact opposite of this healing journey. It is you crawling through the trenches on your motherfucking belly through some poo-poo, right? You're throwing elbows, you're peeling back layers, but you come to these points of, you look up out of the trenches and there's a beautiful field. There's a fucking field like you've never seen before, in colors you have never experienced before in your entire fucking life. And you're like, oh shit, wait, what? And then you're like, okay, I want more of that. And you keep going. That is healing. That is healing. It is continuously peeling back these fucking layers of your own bullshit and seeing things clearly, seeing things differently. But I promise you, your healing never stops. Your healing will stop when you fucking decide to leave this planet. That is it. It is never fucking done. There's always going to be another motherfucking layer to uncover.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful to hear you speak. I mean, it's that passion that we've been talking about this whole time. If your life is not passionate, you're doing something wrong. Like, you have to be excited about every damn thing, you know. And there may not be parts of it that are really beautiful to look at, but as long as you're thankful, as long as you're grateful, as long as you're like, I'm moving forward, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how bad it gets. What would you say to the person who is in that low phase, where they're like, man, I've been screwing up, have all this potential. There's probably opportunity around me that I'm just blinding myself to. I've been playing the victim for a long time. I've been washing away my pain, my worry, my sorrow with substances or with literally any other kind of addiction. What do you say to that person? What do you say to them to say, hey, like, this is a, you got this. Like, what would you tell them? Like, what would you tell yourself back then? Like, if you go back and just sit down for just a hot minute and say, hey, I want to tell you something, what would you say?
That's such a great question. My brain is filled with thoughts right now. So let me try to organize them. The first thing is you just need to have the thought that my life could be better. Just the thought. You don't have to believe it to be true, but just having that tiniest sliver of hope is the fucking key. And leaning into that, getting inquisitive about what does that look like? What does that feel like? I couldn't have told you that 7.5 years ago when I got clean and sober. I just knew that there was that little thing inside of me that said, I want better. I want better for myself. I want better for my life. And I stumbled through the dark until I found a wall, found a light switch, a bunch of busted ass fucking broken light bulbs, but there was one tiny little light bulb hanging there. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's my next step, right? So there's no handbook, there's no guidebook, there's no playbook for healing for your life. You are the author, the creator, the inventor of your own fucking adventure. Do you remember those books when we were little, Choose Your Own Adventure? Yeah. Guess what, motherfucker? You're a goddamn author writing your book right now. So if you feel like, you know what, maybe I do deserve better. Maybe I am sick of living this way. I'm sick of lying to myself. I'm sick of lying to my friends, my family. I'm sick of living this way. Cool. Fucking lean into that. Journal. I'm telling you, affirmation cards, even if you don't believe like I deserve 6 figures or I deserve to have a beautiful house or I deserve, like, just simply being grateful for the breath that you have. I am grateful. When I started doing gratitudes, shit started changing for me. I started realizing when people do cut me off, it has nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. I'm like, you know what? They got some shit they need to work through. Like you said, like your perspective changes. So if you've told yourself your whole life, you're a piece of shit, you don't deserve happiness, everybody else gets to have the dream, but you don't, and you've believed it, why the fuck can you not tell yourself some new shit and start to believe that shit? Writing things down. I used to write down goals. I had goal lists like fucking crazy. One New Year's Eve, I wrote like 300 fucking goals that I wanted to accomplish for the year. And I would look at it and I put it in a place where I could see it every fucking day. And slowly but surely by March, I was like, oh my God, I just ticked one off. Oh my gosh, you know what is possible? Because I did this one, I can now do this one. And there's a book I want to share, and I don't know if y'all have read it. It's called The Mountain Is You. Have y'all read it?
Isn't that what Meg recommended that book to me?
All right. So here's this for everybody. When multiple people recommend one specific book who do not know each other, everybody go get this book. Everybody get on Amazon and hop out and get the book. There
is the most magical author. Her name is Brianna Wiest, and she wrote The Mountain Is You. It is a book about transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery. When I tell you I have read this book 100 times since March 1st, I am not exaggerating. I pick it up every fucking day and I read passages from it. We sabotage ourselves in ways that we are not even consciously aware of. When I read that book, I was like, this bitch is screaming at me. I did not realize my thoughts, my speech, my, perfectionism. I thought being a perfectionist was cool. No, bitch, that's just fear wrapped in a sparkly fucking cape, okay? There are so many ways that I was sabotaging myself that I wasn't aware of. So I really want to challenge every single person that is listening right now, pick up that fucking book. I do not have an affiliate link. I don't get paid. This is just a book that hit me, gut punch, to make me be aware of the ways that I was getting in my own fucking way. So having just that tiniest belief that maybe I deserve better. And you don't have to say it in a statement. You could say maybe, question mark, I deserve better, question mark. That to me is the key. When you are sick of your own bullshit, and you're willing to just question, what if things look differently for me? What if I got this job? What if whatever? That is the beginning of a transformation, in my opinion, is just being able to question yourself and just sit with that and to go, you know what? Yeah, maybe I do deserve better.
You know, people don't get the fact that this is like what we're talking about. This is like real mind control. People are always like, well, how do I control my thoughts? How do I do things? You don't. You send your mind on errands. You ask it questions. Why do I look so good? Why do I feel so good? Why is everything attracting to me? Why do people love me?
Why is this so easy?
Yeah, you start asking why questions. You don't come up with the answer. That's not your job. You're not your mind. Your mind is a tool, but you have to send it on errands. Otherwise, it worries the whole damn day. It just spends time in worry and anxiety, and it comes up with bullshit. It does all that. If you don't sit down, it's like you're sitting in with your assistant, but you don't tell it what to do. Well, it's just gonna fuck around. It's gonna twiddle its thumbs. You're like, well, how come you're doing all? And you're mad, but you're like, you gotta figure out how to run it. You gotta say, hey, I need some help over here. Go out and do this. Why do I feel so good? Why have I gotten so good at making food? Why does Brit feel so good when she sees me? Why does she give me a hug? Why does she kiss me like that? You know, you just start asking those questions. And what's weird is your mind tries to go find the answer. Why does my relationship work so damn well? You know, so many people you find that
we get what you focus on.
Yeah, so many people you have going into home and they had a bad day, and so they scream at their partner, and then suddenly your relationship's crap too. So your work life's crap, now your relationship's crap, now your sleep's crap, everything's falling away, and they just don't ask that question. Why do I have such a good relationship? Because you're focusing on the wrong shit.
And what I find in working with high level achievers is that they can have 100 things that are going right and one little tiny thing that's going wrong, but that's all we can focus on is that one tiny thing. And that's where self-sabotage tends to like derail us from recognizing the abundance and appreciation of all that is going right.
You know what? I love that you are talking about this, because my husband would always say to me, it's so frustrating when you focus on this one little thing, this one little thing, when everything else in your life is going right. And I'm like, fuck you. It's not. Everything is not going right in my life, you fuck ass. Like, people drop out of my community and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm garbage. I go into that self-talk. And I didn't even realize it until I read that the fucking mountain is you. And I was like, oh, bitch, wake up. I'm a high achiever. I have a tendency to zoom in on a microscope 1 billion times. And what I need to do is take my motherfucking self out, zoom up to a goddamn bird's eye view. And now I can't even see that one little thing. There's two little things that are going wrong in my life, because I am surrounded by motherfucking abundance and goodness and love and kindness and all of these amazing things that my brain has been trained by me for decades to focus on. It's that negativity bias. And that's what a human brain does. It's not just your brain. It's not just my brain. It is a motherfucking human brain, that negativity bias. But when you take the time to go, why am I attracting all this good shit? Why is my life so awesome? Why am I such a dope motherfucker? You are rewiring those neural pathways. You are literally reprogramming your brain. It's neuroplastic, meaning it's not fucking concrete. It's plastic, plasticity. It can bend, it can move. You are actually in control. You can reshape your thoughts, your feelings. So when he pointed that out to me, I was like, shit. Maybe he's right. And I hate it. I fucking hate it when my husband's right, because like I'm always right. But it made me conscious. It made me aware. And so then I was like, instead of being upset when people would drop out of my community thinking they don't like me, it's my fault, me not knowing anything about these people. It could be financial hardships. They could not like it. It doesn't matter, right? I started saying thank you every time their name came through when they renewed for that month. I said thank you by their name. And you know what I found? That when people drop out, it doesn't even faze me anymore. I thank them. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it. You know, I had to flip the script because I was microscopic viewed, and now I've had to pull my head out of my ass and come up to that bird's eye view.
She Virgo'd the shit out of that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think you're right, because if you can't say thank you to $1 in your bank account, what makes you think you'll say thank you to 1 million?
Oh, truth bomb right there. And so many people think money will fix their problems. I was one of those. I will admit, I thought if I make X amount of doll hairs, if I have X amount of followers, all my problems will melt away. And then guess what happened? See, what had happened was I achieved that goal. And I still found myself in that same fucking thought pattern, thinking money would change it, achievements, goals, cars, houses, fucking Gucci bags, all that bullshit. Turns out, literally none of that shit matters. None of it. I could be living in a fucking tent. I've lived on the streets. I could do it again. And I could still be fucking happy. And I could still feel abundant because all that other shit doesn't fucking matter. If you can't appreciate $1, the universe goes, you don't appreciate this? I'm not giving you 1,000, 10,000, a million. Fuck, no. When you learn to appreciate that penny, that 50 cents, that fucking dollar bill, the universe sees that, the universe honors it, the universe gives you more. So it's all about that space of receiving and gratitude. You know, when you have that, like, I wish I had, flip it. Flip that fucking thought. I wish I had $1 million. Act like you have it now. When you act like it, that's what the universe hears. That's what you're going to get back. And I'm not saying you're going to get $1 million in your bank account overnight, but it's that gratitude. It's that abundance mindset. It's flipping those thoughts on their fucking head and rewriting them. That is how you change. And it is baby step by baby step every fucking day. Because the shit, y'all know, it does not happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. And actually in my self-love program, I teach this just like a little challenge is 24 hours reframing your negativity. So give yourself a 24-hour timer and just be extra mindful of like when you're working with people or putting on your clothes or getting ready, like be more in tune with how you're talking to yourself and write down all those negative stories that you tell yourself and challenge yourself to say, oh, well, I went from I'm fat to I'm beautiful. That was the story that I had to catch the most. I'm fat. No, I'm beautiful. I would reframe it. I would say cancel. I'd give my hands a little dust off and say, I'm beautiful. And like you said, it was fucking weird. It was uncomfortable. It was bullshit. I'm like, I am lying to myself. This feels skeezy, but whatever. I'm just going to try it. And eventually it became my new narrative where I don't even think about it anymore. And when I do hear I'm fat, I'm like, whoa, where'd she come? She been gone for a minute. Like it's good. I must be oh, yep, I'm PMSing. Okay. She's bad. Like, okay, it's fine. You know?
Yeah. You bring up something that's vitally important that people don't get a lot of times is that if let's say you say I'm beautiful and it feels weird. And like that fifth time you say I'm ugly or I'm fat or whatever the word is for you, it doesn't mean that you failed. A lot of times people don't realize that it's the repetition we're looking for. It's just like, if you eat clean most of the time and then you eat crappy a couple meals, it's not a big deal. You know, you go out to your family, you have the holidays, you literally gorge yourself with the meal you possibly find. It doesn't mean that tomorrow you wake up and you do the exact same thing. We're always just getting back on the horse. It's always back on the horse, always. It's consistency. It's continual repetition of what it is that you want. It will bring it toward you, even if you screw up a little bit. You know, we have like a good leeway here, and you can really go off the rails. You can really hit rock bottom. You can always bounce back. We are all, and not only that, everyone, like you said, is looking for a success story. Everyone is looking for what did that transformation look like, because everybody wants hope. And people don't want false hope. Well, you find a lot of marketers out there, they regurgitate shit. They read the good books. You know, we've had good authors over the last couple hundred years, and people read that shit and then they pretend like it's them doing it. And then you meet them in person, you're like,
not embodying.
You're like, they've never been through anything.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been like her grandpa's been in a bunch of wars. I can talk to him about it, but I've only seen even Saving Private Ryan. You know, like that's as much as I know about being in a war. So there's a lot of stuff that I can't comment on, that I can only ask him about his experience. I don't teach about war because I don't know about it. I only teach what I've been through. I only teach what's working for people who have been through the same kinds of things. I think it's such a wrong deal for us to start teaching shit that we don't know about. And I see a lot of people getting out there doing it, talking about trauma stuff and doing all, like, you have to go through your shit. The way you become better at your craft is face your shit. And the second that you do that, everybody sees you've been through shit. And what happens? They trust you. Yeah. The same way with cussing. You know, we get a lot of flack. Brit cusses like crazy. I mean, I know, you know, but it's one of those things where
bitches,
when people are around Brit, they don't feel like, oh, she's probably lying to me, because they know she's going to be herself. She doesn't care. She doesn't care if you don't like what she's doing. That's not what's important. It's important that the change happens. It doesn't matter if I'm your best friend or not. That's not important. I'm only here to help change. Right. I'm not, we don't have to hug each other on the weekends. Like none of that, you know, it's not a thing.
But I do like that.
Absolutely. And when it happens, it's a bonus, but you can always be yourself. I think so many people out there are trying to be a fake version, and all you want to be is the real version. A lot of people say, I want to get better. And that's never true. You cannot better yourself. Self-help is not a real thing. The problem is you uncover layers and discover how great you already were. Like, that's how it always happens. Like, everyone like, oh, I just want to be better. Like, stop. You want to peel off the shit layers.
You have to just stop pretending that you're not.
But like I said, it's that whole clown face. They're over there with that painted clown face. You're like, stop pretending that you're the clown. Like, you're not. Like, get your head out of your ass. It's I love this conversation. My body's full. Like, I've had chills multiple times. My little leg hairs have stood up. It's beautiful. And just like I said at the beginning, there's a certain person that has star quality. And I just thank you so much for going through what you did, but then also using that as power, because a lot of people let it debilitate themselves. And, you know, I honor that. If that's where they are in their journey and it debilitates you for a while, hell yeah. You know,
shit's hard.
There's fully
no
understand.
Doubt about it.
I fully understand. You reach for the wrong thing. You know, you rely on that for a long time till it crushes you. I get it. There's no shame in that. We've all been in bad places, but when you come out of it, how much better you feel, and then how inspired you are to do something with other people. Like, that's the whole goal of the trauma, because you discover what your power is in that trauma, and your power is always helping other people. I mean, it's always like that format, and we don't get that when we're in the trauma, because we're just like, you know, we're just bitchy about everything. Everything's a dark rain cloud over us. We're just whiny about everything that we just complain and blame people, and every time you do that, you're taking energy away from helping people. The whole goal, again, spend your energy nourishing yourself first. You have to help you. Obviously, you got to do your yoga, got to do your crazy Ashtanga, got to get on it. And then you have to start helping too, because like, once you're nourished, go help. My mom flipped the lid on my whole life. She fucked me up one day. I used to go over to her house on the weekends to spend a little time. Brit would be in the salon. So I had a little Saturday time with my mom for a little bit. We just sit and talk for hours, nothing fancy, just talking. And James Gandolfini, the guy from Sopranos, Big Tony Soprano, he had just passed away. And I'd been getting into hypnosis and I'd been in all sorts of stuff. And she goes, isn't it weird that you could have helped him? And I was like, oh, what did you, she goes, who are you going to help knowing all the stuff and not getting out there and doing anything about it? And my mom's like the sweetest person alive. She wouldn't harm a feather on anything. I mean, she's just always so kind. And she came raw at me that day. I was like, I mean, it took me back. I was like, I don't have a.
You do have leg hair chills right now.
I'm never at a loss for words. She took me down with that. I mean, she pinned me to the mat with that phrase, and you know, I had to sit with it for a while. She's like, well, shit, why am I not helping people? And it's weird because I just decided after that, I'm like, okay, I'll help people. If people come to me, I'll help them. You know, I'm not going to advertise it. I'm not going to put but I will hang my hat. I will get better at my craft. I will figure it out. If I can help people, I want to. It was within a week, I got my first client. First paying client coming in there like, hey, and it was a friend brought him to me. It wasn't even, it was like fluke deal. I was like, whoa, because you have to know that when you ask to help, it will come the situation. So be ready. Like, the whole process, you need to start fucking being ready. You got to take care of your shit and get ready, because they'll come. They will come find you. And you know, it can be overwhelming. I remember that first moment was overwhelming, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I mean, this is weird. I'm sweating. I'm pouring sweat, which is not natural, right? I don't, you know, unless I'm just overly excited. And it's like, holy smokes. But the reality is, like you said, I stopped focusing on what I was thinking in my head. That's what I realized I had to do. And when you're sitting across from a person who's got big problems, nothing that's going on in my head is important there, especially when they lay their dollar bills on the line, especially when they've said, I'm going to trust you with all the shit that I'm about to lay on you. I need you to do something with it and help me a little bit, even if it is just give me a little hope. I need something. And so it was so important in that moment. I discovered, like, because you had those nerves come up, you're like, your face is blotchy, your hands are sweaty, it's weird. You're like, I'm uncomfortable. My voice sounds funny. It's not the normal resonance that it is. And then I just sat there and I thought, I'm here to help her. I've been studying this whole time to help this human being right here with a real problem. I have been learning and prepping for this my whole life. I've been going through all the crap that I've been through. Every single thing that has ever happened is here for me this moment. Hopefully I have something. And then I close my eyes. Even though I'm not super religious, I've always been spiritual. And I just like, whatever needs to come out, let it come out. And then we're there. So you don't have to be perfect doing this. Everybody out there, like, I want to take the next course and I always want to get this next thing, and which is fine. You want to educate yourself. You're going to continuously educate yourself, but that doesn't mean you don't start. You have to immediately start. And you're like, well, I don't know where to find a client. Then you're not going outside. Every person that you meet is your potential client. I don't give a shit what you do. It doesn't matter.
True.
Yeah, that's your client. And you don't have to be salesy. You just let them know, hey, I'm here for you. If you need help, let me tell you what I have to offer. If you don't, that's totally fine. I still want to be here with you. I still want to smile at you. I still want to ask you how your day's going. I still want to be a friend. Like, you don't have to be in business with me, but if there's something that I can do that aligns with what my passions are, what I've been studying for years to do, what I've been helping all these other people do, I want to help you and I'm here. You have to do that because there are so many people who won't ask for help until you mention something about it. So everyone is afraid of talking about their business. Like, that's the reason you're broke. If you don't talk about your business, you're going to be broke. Every person, again, is a potential client, and you are always selling, but not doing creepy shit. Your business should be good enough that people would want to buy it. And when you are passionate enough about it, you don't have to sell. People will come find you. You be excited about it. You go when people say, hey, how's your day going? You say, I just nailed it with this client. Holy smokes. They did things they didn't know they were going to do. It was such a beautiful moment. I'm so thankful for what I do. And that person's going to go, I'm sorry, what do you do? Yeah. I haven't had that much passion in my life. I haven't had that much passion in my marriage. Holy shit, like, what is going on? I want to hook up to this person. They're excited about life. And you got a client. That is how people are like, oh, marketing is so hard. And I don't know about making reels and doing these Facebook ads. Go meet somebody. There are human beings outside your door. Get out. Dress up a little bit if that you need that. Put a little makeup on if you need that. Whatever it is you need to do. Jump up and down on a trampoline. Do your whatever, get in your spin class, whatever puts you in your power stance, and then go out there and tell people, I'm here to serve you. And it's amazing what will happen in your life and how good you will feel and then what you will attract. People are always looking for why. Let's find this schemy ass way to make money. There's so many people in
sell drugs.
There's
a lot of
so
money
many
in that.
people in dire straits out there that are just waiting for you to speak up. They're just fucking dying for you to say literally anything to help them at all. But people are dying for that information. And the fact that so many of us sit back or hold back or are afraid, or we're like, what? Well, then it'll be weird if I do something. It's bullshit. And the only thing that is hurting, for one, is your bank account, but two, the other person that you could have been helping, because they will then go out and do the same thing. That's all we're doing. Again, we're just lighting that light. Get that light lit, light the light, light the light, light the light. That's all we're looking to do.
So speaking of thriving and shining, you're bringing like a lot more than I've ever seen at a retreat. Like educators, teachers, healers, leaders, like you bring in a lot. So can you just give us a little preview of what to expect in Utah for your retreat, so that anyone listening and they're like, shit, I want to go just like I was.
We're gonna be there. Let's go,
yeah,
friends.
I mean, I was like full body, like I said, nips hard, hell yes. How do I do this? How do I be a part of this? I just know that our listeners are like, how do I spend time with this magical soul? So can you just give us a little taste of that?
First of all, the two of you motherfuckers are going to be there. So mic drop, say no more. It's gonna. No, I'm so honored that I managed to get 22 fucking incredible leaders to come together. I picked these people because, first and foremost, they are good ass humans. They are authentic. They are vulnerable. They are just good fucking people who happen to be passionate as fuck about whatever they're teaching about. So that to me was like, I instantly knew who I wanted when I was creating this. It was a no-brainer for me. And, we have people who are going to be teaching about hair. I mean, we have people who are going to be teaching business. We have people who are going to be teaching social media. I have a licensed fucking therapist coming to speak. She has this deck, it's called Feel, Deal, Heal, that literally blew my mind, because I was like, I don't have any of these coping skills. And so now I have a deck of fucking coping skills that I have, like always. So she's coming to speak. One of my really good friends is an emotional intelligence expert. And when I heard him speak, I was like, bitch, you just blew my mind. I need you to be at my retreat. So we have people from literally all over North America coming to speak, to share at this event. We have people from literally all over the world. Can I tell you, the fucking world coming to this retreat, who have bought plane tickets across the fucking ocean, coming to this. It's mindset work. It is wellness. We're going to be doing yoga. And if you've never done yoga before, do not let that scare you, because we are not doing Ashtanga. I promise you. We are going to be doing some shit that every motherfucking body can get into. We are going to be going on a journey of healing, of self-discovery, of transformation. information, and you are going to be in a community of like-minded individuals who want better for themselves, who want that connection with people who are real. Like I said at the beginning of this, like, facades are gone. You show up as you. You show up authentically as you. If you're weird, be fucking weird. Please, dear God, fly your freak flag high, because you will find other motherfuckers. You have just given people permission to fly their freak flag and say, hey, I see you. I am you. And that is truly what I wanted at this retreat, is just a place for us all to come together, to grow, to learn, to have conversations. And I know that even if you show up alone, I guarantee you are going to leave this retreat with so many new besties, so many new people in your circle, and y'all will be planning trips. You'll be going to each other's houses. Like, I've seen it. I've done a retreat before. I watched the magic unfold last year. And this year I was like, we're going to get deep. We're going to get into some shit that you probably don't even know that you need to fucking deal, heal, feel, any of that. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to create a space where you are allowed to get real and vulnerable and raw. So that is why I created it. There's 22 magical motherfuckers who are going to be part of it, not to mention you two badass bitches. Like, it's going to be, I think it is going to be an event unlike any that people have seen before.
I truly believe that. That's why I feel like FOMO is real. There's no way I'm missing out on that. I'm like, bitch, buy tickets right now. I don't even care. I still haven't canceled my clients, but here's your heads up. I'm canceling y'all's appointments, just so you know. Oh my gosh. I am so stoked for that. I feel like we could go full on Joe Rogan and keep you here for 19 hours, but my ass hurts. I'm hungry. I'm all the things.
Good, because I have to pee so bad.
I had a feeling. I'm like, I don't think I'm the only one that has to pee here. So I would love to keep this conversation going. But for now, you guys have to go check her out on Instagram, check out our website, come join us at the retreat in Utah. I, of course, will link all this information. And Sarai, literally such a pleasure to get to witness you, like you,
The healer.
And I would love to know, just, we always ask our guests to end the show by answering, what does living an elevated life mean to you?
I feel like I have a long-winded answer. Living an elevated life means every day I am making a conscious effort to connect with my higher self. Doing random acts of kindness, not expecting anything in return, living in a way that would make my future self proud, that would make my past self proud. It is, for me, it's prioritizing my self-care. It is talking kindly to myself. It is being kind. It is sharing my light. It is helping others in need. When I go to bed at night and I lay my head on my pillow, I can say, good fucking job today, kid. That to me means I'm living an elevated life in alignment.
So beautiful.
I love this.
Fucking Mike. Everybody get her an indestructible mic, because she drops it so much. Like, honestly, thank you so much for shining your light, opening your heart, and being vulnerable. I appreciate you so much and can't wait to give you a big hug and squeeze in Utah. We cannot wait for the next time you're here on the Elevated Life. And until then, we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Peace.